Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video where today we're going to be looking at TSM's chances to get out of Group C. First thing I want to mention about this group that I was thinking since the group straw is the way that these teams stack up with region tier list, if we can call it that. So for example, if you were looking at the different regions and ask different analysts, coaches, players, they'd probably say LPL is the best. They've won the past two worlds. They've shown just to be better over the number 2 LCK and bumping them down. Some people might argue that LEC is number 2 over the LCK because of their latest finishes at Worlds, but a lot of people would argue that that's just the draw and that the LEC, the finals for a lot of the Worlds championships have been between the LCK and the LPL. It just happened in the semifinal, not the final, based on the quarterfinals draw. Who knows what that is? I think we'll put the LEC and the LCK dash. I think they're both really good. I think they have very distinct and very different play styles. They have great player bases to pick from for their academy teams and their main rosters. And so, and then you can leave a space here, and then you have the LCS. We're clearly number 4 on this list. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We had a good showing last year in C9. Cloud9 always tends to impress us at Worlds and get out of groups. They made it to semis last year, quarters before, and there's a team that does well at Worlds. You had Team Liquid making it to the finals at MSI, so we have a little bit of international success, a little bit, but not a ton if you're looking at other regions. I'm even surprised we still have 3 seeds. I think it's just based on our history, but I'm surprised we have 3 seeds at Worlds, but that's a video for another time. The point I was making about this is if you look at this tier list of the different regions, at least the 4 major regions, if you would even add the LCS as one of those, you have the region number 1, the LPL, and their 4th seeded team in LGD in this group. We're assuming that LGD gets out of play-ins. I think that's safe to assume, and they'll be automatically slotted into Group C because they have 3 other teams in the other groups. This is the only group without an LPL team, so LGD will automatically be placed into it. Then you have the next region, region number 2, rank 2, with their 3rd seeded Gen G, LEC 3rd, 2nd seed, LCS 4th, 1st seed. And so the teams in the seeded order is inverse of the regional strength or the regional tier list, however you would call that. And so this is the most even group that you can get at Worlds. And I think that's what makes this one of the most interesting groups to watch. And I'm going to be watching almost every single one of these games in this group. It's going to be really crazy to see what happens because it really is anybody's group. Whoever shows up in these best of ones is just going to get out. Now we might see TSM go 2-1 week 1, beating, I don't know, LGD, Fnatic, and losing to Gen G or something like that. And then they go 0-3, like is very customary for, Worlds teams, or NA teams at Worlds to do, especially throwback to 2015, the infamous week 2 for NA. And so if TSM if they can avoid this, I think they have a shot. If they can avoid these teams figuring them out and not being linear, which I don't think they're linear anymore. I think they have playstyles that we'll talk about in a second. But let's go down. Let's just start with our predictions. Group C predictions. So I think we'll start at the bottom, and we're gonna start with TSM. I know this crushes a lot of people. This hurts me to put down because I'm a Bjergsen fan through and through. I think he's a great player. I just am enamored by him every single year that I get to watch the LCS, and I'm so excited every time they go to Worlds. I cheer for him, I root for him, and I just get let down. And this year, I'm hoping that they do well. I want them to get out of groups. I want them to potentially finish first if they can, improve themselves. But when it comes to purely based on what I think is going to happen, I'm going to bolster my expectations and put them 4th. But the way that they can get out of groups, they have a couple ways that they can get out of groups. The first one is having a dynamic playstyle, which means playing through jungle and top, Spica and Broken Blade, and using Bjergsen as an enabler. We saw them do this in the LCS playoffs. When you have Bjergsen on champions like Zillion and Twisted Fate, he can roam around the map and help his teammates so much more than he used to be able to but the classic TSM formula was have Bjergsen on carry like Syndra or Victor or Zier or Orianna, and then you'd have the jungler just camp him all the time. And it was really tough for them to win internationally because all the other teams knew exactly what they were doing. There was just nothing else. And then when they had double F, they would throw, jungle pressure down there and just try to get them to farm up. But what we've seen them do very well is they force the resource-hungry double lift to play weak side. Now, one thing we see with international teams from the LPL, from the LCK, and even the LEC is that they are very good at punishing players that play weak side. And it's so hard to survive these 3-man, 4-man tower dives as, a level 6, level 7 Ashe. But I think if Doublelift can evade this incredible pressure that's going to be placed on him in the bot lane, I think that they can do well and allow Bjergsen to be an enabler. He's going to draw 2 bans. If they want him to play Twisted Fate or Zillion, I don't think there's a world where LGD or Genji doesn't ban both of his champions and force him into the playstyle that they are historically most known for with him on Syndra or LeBlanc or something. But I think you need to have Spica on junglers that can be incredibly aggressive. Out of all of the NA teams, I think Spica has the chance to match up against these world-class junglers better because of his skirmishing playstyle. That's just the way that he plays. He plays really well in the skirmish, and so that's one thing that he's going to have to be able to do in order to help TSM. And then I think the last one is you put BB on carry champs. The Jax, Aurelia, Renekton, Camille. I think these champs are going to be what carries TSM to victory. I think they could have comps and playstyles where they might play Ornn or Maokai. I think Maokai is a great pick in the meta right now. Getting him on those champions could be good. We'll have to see how the world's meta plays out. But seeing him play on these champions with all the pressure and having the backup from Spica is really cool. There are some mid-jungle duos in this group that are very scary for TSM, notably LGD. I think that Shihei and, not Nemesis, that's Fnatic. Shihei and Peanut are very scary. I think Peanut's probably the best jungler in this group. They're just gonna have to watch out for it. Like this is like the best case scenario for TSM. Like Spica gets carry jungler, Broken Blade gets carry top laner. Bjergsen is on an enabling support, Zillion or Twisted Fate. Miraculously doesn't get it banned out. He picks it maybe first rotation. Doublelift can play weak side on utility-based champions like Ashe and Caitlyn, potentially even Jhin. And then like you have a bio playing champions that can roam well like Leona, Thresh, maybe even, I don't really want to see him play Lux. I don't think he's that good. I do think that TSM has the ability. I think Treats is actually a lot better than people thought he was. He was the first international player to hit 1,000 LP on the Chinese Challenger server. Treats is just such a good player, and I think that what we saw is that Bio was better at Enchanter supports. And we saw Treats was good at engaged champs like Leona, Blitzcrank, Thresh, etc. And so I'm really curious to see how they play these different teams, or play their 6-man here, like Bar, Nami, etc. If they can use their sub well during like the best of ones and throw teams off of what they're expecting them to play, or they potentially even practice to like swap the champions that they play and how they play them. Like TSM has more weapons this year than they ever have in the past, and coincidentally they have one of the harder groups that they've ever had. This is by no means an easy group. You have a team from all 4 major regions. There's not a team that's going to be free to win against. Every win is going to be hard fought and earned. And ironic, I think TSM can squeak out 1 and 5, maybe 2-4, if they can get a good upset or something. Like they're gonna be playing upset and just trying to get experience for Spica and Broken Blade. But man, I think I want them to be really good. I just so desperately want TSM to be very good and to use all of these things and continue to practice them on the Chinese server and in these scrims to do well in these best of ones. And I don't think TSM is historically good at best of ones, even in NA. I think they're better in a tournament format, and we've seen that, like the best of 5. But that's just the way groups is. You can't change it. It's best of 1, double round robin, and they have to be able to do these things in order to win. So unfortunately, we're putting TSM at the bottom. I want them to be, I want them to get out. I really do. Next we have LGD. Let's move this down. TSM. LGD is a very scary team with Peanut GA. Like these players, like this mid jungle duo, I was talking about it for TSM. Theirs is even better. Like, disregard any other players on the team. This duo will win them games single-handedly. Peanut is one of the best junglers at the tournament. I think Peanut is one of the best junglers in this tournament. And this mid jungle duo is just gonna carry them so far. They're just gonna have basically to win around that. Lots of skirmishing. And put Peanut on Lilia, Nidalee, potentially like Lee Sin. Champions that can tear up the game early. These are the champions that we're probably gonna see Peanut pick. It's just kind of meta right now as well. And I think this is gonna win LGD a lot of games. I do think they have weaknesses in the bot lane that they don't level up. Like even TSM with Double If, Biofrost, you have Reckless and Ruler. I don't think LGD matches up like that. I think they're gonna stomp in play-ins because they're just clearly the best team in play-ins. But once they get closer to group stage, it's gonna be more of a fight. I think they go like 3-3, 3-4 actually. We'll have them losing a tiebreaker because Fnatic is insane when it comes to tiebreakers. And then second, getting out of the group, we have Fnatic 4-3, and then we'll do Genji 5-1. I think that's the most likely situation. We'll put, wait, does it math that up? Yeah. We'll 1-5 for TSM. We'll say they pull one from Fnatic or pull one from LGD. I so desperately want to be wrong though. Like if I'm right, I'm gonna be really sad. If I'm right about this, Worlds is not gonna be fun for me this year. But this is what I'm assuming. This is what I'm guessing is gonna happen for TSM. But okay, Fnatic. I think that they're hoping for a meta shift. Hope for a meta shift towards bot lane. And I can say the same thing about Gen G, except I think Gen G is just stronger overall, so they're going to do better regardless of this meta shift. Reckless is just such a good ADC. Best ADC. Oh, actually, he has Ruler. One of the best ADCs in the group. Their weakness is... What am I doing? I should put this up here. The weakness for Fnatic is Nemesis. And even like the top laner for Fnatic. I don't even know. Whippo. Like their solo laners aren't as strong as the solo laners. Potentially even, I think all the players. Bjergsen's better in the mid lane. I think Broken Blade has the potential to be better than Whippo. I don't know if that's true right now. But for sure in the mid lane, like Nemesis is just not going to get away with all of the antics that he pulled in Fnatic, or sorry, in EU. And I think that the mid jungle from LGD is going to punish it. I think BDD is going to punish it from Gen G. Like, I think if they somehow don't get out, it's because their mid jungle duo is not exactly where they want it to be. But they're hoping for a meta shift towards champions like Caitlyn and Kai'Sa, where they can just focus bot, funnel bot, and win through kind of a skirmishy bot lane, but also incredibly based on vision, objective play around Dragon, Rift Herald, and just win through that. And so they're really kind of hoping for a meta shift towards that. We saw a nerf to Lucian and Caitlyn, so that could potentially be the case. But yeah, I think they get out second by winning a tiebreaker against LGD. Their tiebreaker record is kind of off the charts when you look at just teams at Worlds. Like they just win games. They're a very clutch team, and so I'm really excited for what they what they can do. And finally, Gen G, we have them at first. Ruler, best ADC in the tournament. Even if Fnatic gets their meta shift towards bot lane, Gen G is Ruler. Even if Nemesis is decent, they have BDD. Like all the weaknesses that we see from Fnatic and things that they're hoping for help Gen G even greater, but Gen G's just gonna better overall anyways. And so I think this meta shift might happen, but overall we're gonna see Ruler stomping on picks like Ashe and Jhin, and hopefully we don't see him on Ezreal. And then BDD is going to be carrying in the mid lane. He's not as good as Showmaker or Chovy, but if you've been watching League, especially International League and Worlds the past 2 years, you know BDD is an incredible player. Best man in the group. And then you have like Bjergsen behind him. So I think you have Gen G clearly at the top. And then after that, you have Fnatic, who needs a couple of things to go in their favor if they want to get out second. But I think they are the second strongest. Then you have LGD. And then clearly at the bottom, but in my opinion, the biggest upside is TSM. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this video, when we look back at it later, it just isn't what we expected it to be. And I'm wrong. And they somehow pull 4-3 and win a tiebreaker against Fnatic or LGD or Gen G or whoever and make it out of groups. I think it can happen. I think there's also a world where Fnatic can get out first. They're a team that's shown to have incredible upside and can be a Worlds contender. But I'm excited for this group, guys. I think out of all the groups, this is the most even one that we have, with the seeding being the complete inverse from the regional tier list. And I'm excited to see what happens. I really hope TSM gets out first. I'm a diehard TSM fan, but I kind of want to be a realist about this and look at history, look at play style, look at different players, and just see what happens. So yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about this list, and especially about this record in the comments below. If you want to put your Group C final predictions down there, give me a couple of reasonings, a couple points to back it up, and I'd love to converse with you guys in the comments. So yeah, guys, as always, this has been Snowda. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.